Yep.
Let's get her going.
All right,
ready.
let's do it. Let's talk some football. All right, boys. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pigskin Prayer. The same boys as always. I'm Evan with John and Joe. And this episode, we're having the Christian McCaffrey Show, a.k.a. Fantasy Football Running Backs. Yeah, there we go. A.k.a. the Christian McCaffrey Show. So, now that that's out of the way, what's on your menu, boys?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I went a little different direction tonight because we haven't done one of these, and I thought that we should pay a little respect to a sour beer.
I was totally off base. Okay,
So
great.
I actually chose. This is Distill Brewery, out of Normal, Illinois, which is how normal is that? And it's a wild sour, but it's a Flanders Red. I got to tell you, I can take or leave a sour. I mean, I've had some really good ones. I've had some that they're really bad. This one's a good. I give this a 7.0. The Flanders Red, it actually has a hint of raspberry, but obviously not sweet at all. I mean, it's sour. But a nice touch with that taste of raspberry in there. And that's why I give it a 7.0. Normally I wouldn't give a sour that high of a number, but it's really pretty good. It's definitely something that I would buy again. For sure. Right. So here, boys.
Well, then bring me some. That's all I got to say. I love sours.
Do you?
There's a rare sour that I don't like. Some I like more than others, but I really like sours. Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever had that one?
No.
All right. Now you got to bring them one.
That's what I was trying to say. Give me 6.
Yeah. Good luck flying with it, though. I'll see what I can do.
So you can check it. They might want you. I actually hauled when I was in Cleveland one time. I got my memory just is so bad. I hate to say
it. Really is.
Well, because I can picture the goddamn stuff. So Dortmunder's one of their beers, and I don't know. I can't think of it. But it's a Cleveland or Ohio beer, and I got like a mix pack, and I only drank a couple when I was in town working. And so I took it to the fucking airport, had it in my suitcase, and as I scanned it, they're like, it was kind of heavy. I'm like, I got beer in there. They're like, do you have it packed? No. And so they sold me a couple bubble wrap things, and just put them in that, and then they shipped them. They let me.
No, I've done that with wine.
Yeah, so you can. It's just, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Depends on how bad you want the sour, I guess.
Right. You could stick one in a couple socks and it'd make it. No problem.
Yeah, come on.
It's in the can.
They're not going that hard. It's not narcotics.
No. As long as you check it. Obviously, you're not getting you're not carrying that sucker on.
The plane with it on, yeah.
Yep. So, damn. Mine, I just did a follow-up from last week.
Boulevard Wheat.
I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I'm like, I did the pale ale last week, and I mentioned this, and I'm like, I just got to do it because I got these delivered to me by somebody who didn't fly, and I'm like, they're going to be gone probably before the next show, so I probably got to do one while I got them left.
Yeah.
So I really love it, but it's as I told you last episode, it's not my favorite Boulevard Pale Ale is, and that got a 10. This one, and don't even take it wrong, I'm going to give it a good rating, but I'm going to come back to reality compared to the last rating, and I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think that's a really good rating. I think it's a great beer.
That's a good rating.
Okay.
One of the things I also noticed, I like them bottled, but man, when they're on draft, they are so much better.
Yeah,
I mean, it would get a higher rating if I had a draft one. Yeah, little slice of orange in it, it'd be just ideal.
I like lemon in mine, but yeah,
lemon's good too. No, either one.
Yeah.
Citrus, just a little citrus in there.
Yep.
Okay, good beer selections. I'm hydrated, so I'm just
nice.
Got my H2O over here.
Nice.
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Cool.
All right, so you guys ready to talk some fantasy running backs?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right, so we've already mentioned the golden boy, Christian McCaffrey. If you have the number 1 pick in fantasy, take Christian McCaffrey. Don't even question it. Just do it. He's going to get you points.
Yeah.
There. That's it. All said and done. Consensus. We don't need to talk about him anymore because it's pointless. So now, do either of you guys want to start with a different running back that you feel is worthy of mention number 1? outside of Christian McCaffrey.
I insist LeCount goes first.
So I wasn't even going to bring up Christian McCaffrey because I figured we would just address it. Like
He's the consensus.
And that's why we did.
I'm actually going even a little bit different. I'm not going to say I'm going to pick the sleepers, but my angle today is going to be best value, which, that's actually where my trademark is.
He's a
value over who's the best running backs. Obviously, they're all good. And so one of the things I looked at is how folks did last year and then what they kind of got them ranked this year, and ones I think that they're full of shit and they're going to be a lot better than they're saying they're going to be. But I'm going to pick a little different guy first because Joe and I like this guy a lot, and it's Austin Eckler.
Okay.
He actually had really good numbers last year.
Yeah.
I just flipped away from it. He was 7th in, I don't know if you guys are looking at Fantasy Pros, but that's who I'm looking at is Fantasy Pros. They had him 7th last year. Yeah, last year. And so they got the best reports on this. And they put him, they got him 13th this year. And I think he's only going to be better because now Melvin's gone. Who's the running back?
Yeah.
Austin Eckler. And they're going to have a struggle at quarterback. So, who's going to be carrying the weight of the team? The running back. AKA Christian McCaffrey. It's like, well, if your quarterback sucks and you got a really good running back that can catch, hey, you got golden. And that's Austin Eckler. He can run the ball, but he also catches a lot of passes out of the backfield. So
that's correct.
That's why I liked him so much. I wouldn't take him with the first pick. Obviously, we all covered that. But man, if you could get his ass in the first round anywhere, and you're not like 1, 2, or 3, I don't know, even at 3, I might take him. I'd grab Austin Eckler.
I could definitely see him being sort of a top 5, top 10 player.
Yeah, but that's not where they have him ranked, and that's why I liked him so much.
Right. What is the average in the teens around there? Yeah, I like that pick. That's a great value pick.
That's why I want to go first before Joe could get it.
I actually, he was on my list. He was on my list. I actually thought you were going to go with Derrick Henry because, you've got such a hard on for him. But, I just thought there's no way.
That was too obvious. That was too obvious. That's why I told you I was going after value picks this time.
Yeah.
The thing about Derrick Henry, though, is he doesn't catch it out of the backfield.
That's right. That's right.
He still was a stud, and they downgraded him a little, but not a lot. That's also why I didn't go after him.
Well, I'll tell you what, the guy that I'm going to throw out first is a stud, and I just think that he's going to be even more of a stud this coming season, and that's Saquon Barkley. Okay. I just love this kid, and now they've added some offensive linemen, they've added a receiver or two. I just think now you start to open up. Joe Judge is coming down there from the Patriots organization. I just think they're going to start opening up that offense a little bit, and that's going to open up running lanes for him even more. Not that he needs them that open. We've seen what he can do to this point. Man, I just think he's going to kill it even more this year. So he's my guy. That's one of the guys that I would definitely look at. Take him early. He's going to score you some points.
I would definitely agree with that. I think he's going to win the Giants some football games single-handedly.
Yeah, for sure.
He has. I had him his rookie year, and it was great. Joe got Leonard Fournette, and Leonard was hurt most of the season. I did.
I'll tell you what, man. Leonard Fournette is horrible. This kid.
Yeah, he was good one year.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you what. And it was never a year that I owned him, right? Yeah. So it just isn't good. Yeah, I'd stay away from him.
Saquon didn't have a great year last year.
No.
I like him. I really like him as running back. I think he's probably the most raw, talented running back in the league. Personally,
I agree with that.
That guy is amazing.
Yeah.
To me, we'll see what happens with the Giants. I'm not sold they're going to be that great this year.
Right.
They could be. So then Saquon could be amazing, or they could struggle again. And Saquon is going to have a good year. Right. He had a good year last year overall. I think he's top 15 or top 10.
Yeah.
Because I don't have it sitting right in front of my face this second, but. Yeah. I don't know that I think they got him billed as 2 or 3 this year, and I don't know that. Right. I'm not sold he's going to be 2 or 3.
I think he's definitely a top 3, top 5 guy. I think it's sort of
top 5 maybe? Yeah.
I think definitely top 5, but I think it also depends on how well does Daniel Jones develop too.
Yeah.
Does he make the leap in giving them a formidable passing attack so you can have – so they can't just stack 8 or 9 guys in the box and, have Barkley run into a wall. So
let me be clear here, John. First of all, the Giants will struggle this year. Okay,
Okay, yep.
we know that. Like, we know, but I do think they won't struggle as much. So there will be a step forward, and with that step forward, I think Saquon takes a step forward.
Yeah.
And so, but listen, they're not a great football team, and we've talked about it. Dallas is going to own the East. The Giants won't be in contention, but I do think they're going to play better, and that will allow Saquon to do what he does.
Yeah. So, and I kind of forgot to, point it out in my head as far as why he didn't do so good last year. So I just looked. He was 10th last year. He was injured. Didn't he miss a couple
Yeah, he had some
games?
injuries.
He did.
And he almost took himself out his rookie year, but somehow, you remember that one leaping touchdown where he kind of came down weird on his leg, but then he played the rest of this year, and I thank him for that. Because again, he was on my team, but last year he struggled. So he was top 10, but they actually have him billed as the second. So that's where I'm at. Is like, do I pick him second? If I get the second draft pick, do I pick him when he was just top 10, the 10th best last year, even with an injury?
I think you do, because I think he's safer than a lot of the other guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
That's I think
the difference. So I wasn't going to name him either, though I do like him. I
think the only other really safe option in the top 5 besides McCaffrey and Barkley is probably Ezekiel Elliott.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
it was a great segue. I would go after him first. I think because he's not holding out, I think he's a better pick than Saquon because his team's better.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are more than likely going to win the East. They have Mike McCarthy coming in as the new head coach, an offensive-minded head coach. I think they put Elliott's skill set, really to its best usage. Like, I think he's going to have a great year. I'd say a top 3 running back in fantasy. I mean, he was an MVP candidate a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. He's talented. So he's an all-around. He can catch it out of the backfield. He can run. He's strong. He's got speed. I think Ezekiel Elliott's a very safe option. Those top 3 guys, McCaffrey, Barkley, or Elliott, you really can't go wrong with any of them.
Right.
And Elliott doesn't have a huge injury history either.
No, I was going to say, he's been real durable. So that's the other thing I really like about it. And
I'll tell you,
other than that, a little bit last year.
The one thing that scares me about Elliott, see, I tend to think he's going to regress a little bit. And here's my thinking on that. You pick up CeeDee Lamb, right? So now he lines up across from or on the other side of Amari Cooper, okay? And as we all know, Mike McCarthy that's coming in from the Packers, dude, he threw a lot. Now, granted, he had Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, right? But I want you to look. Aaron Jones, their running back, had a stellar season last year, right, under Matt LaFleur. Stellar season. He didn't have that good a season under Mike McCarthy. And he had some injuries, I'll give you that. But it just seems to me that Mike McCarthy is not as focused on the running game as he is the passing game. And it just makes me wonder, not saying that Ezekiel Elliott is bad. He's proven that he's the man. But I just wonder if the coach that's coming in is going to hinder his process in the running game, focusing more on the passing game. And because that's a question I have, he wouldn't be one. I might take him outside the top 5. Now, that doesn't mean I wouldn't take him number 6, but there's other guys that I would take before him for that reason alone.
Well, what I would say to that is Aaron Jones is not Ezekiel Elliott. So I would think McCarthy would use Elliott.
He was actually better than Elliott last year.
Yeah, but Elliott also held out, remember?
I'm just saying.
He missed some games. Elliott missed some games.
And obviously had a slow start because of it. But
in the games,
Aaron Jones had a great year last year.
He did.
Not to knock on Aaron Jones. I think he's a good running back. But I would think McCarthy finds a way to keep him as one of the top running backs in the league because that only benefits their offense. Dak Prescott isn't a throw for 400 yards type of quarterback. I don't think I wouldn't put Dak Prescott as a top 10 quarterback, to be perfectly honest with you.
Dak's never been asked to do that. So we don't
know. That's what what you're talking about is McCarthy.
We don't know, but we don't know that he can, Evan. You're saying he's not that guy, but
I don't think he needs to.
Okay, now, but now that's opinion, right?
That's opinion. This whole
show is
right. But it's
sometimes
not
really bad opinion too.
We've seen Dak throw for over 400 yards in a game. I mean, he's done it. The guy can do it if you give him the weapons. And I think Mike McCarthy's now given him the weapons. That doesn't mean Ezekiel Elliott's not going to get yards. He's not going to score points.
Yeah.
I absolutely think he will. I just think there's other options early in a fantasy draft that are going to score more points than Ezekiel Elliott.
So since you set yourself up so well, who would you take in front of Ezekiel Elliott? I want to
How many guys do you want me to name?
Just
name your
one
top 5.
for now. Okay. Name your top 5.
Saquon, obviously.
We already heard that. Yeah.
Okay, and Christian would go. So there's 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just one more.
Okay. I was going to say, and then Dalvin Cook.
Okay, Dalvin Cook.
By far. So those would be 3. I could even actually name another one, and we just got done talking about him. I think Aaron Jones found his niche under Matt LaFleur. I think the guy found it. He's going to run with it. The only thing that scares me there is you got A.J. Dillon. How much is that guy going to play, and how many carries is he going to take away from Aaron Jones?
Is he as good as I say he is?
That's another scary part because we just don't know right now. So yeah, but don't get me wrong. Ezekiel, I'm not saying he's bad. I worry about Mike McCarthy coming in and putting in more of a passing offense, which is going to take some carries away from Zeke.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And maybe he won't do that. I just think that the possibility is real.
All right,
So
that's
see.
fair enough. Let's get into some sleepers because we've kind of hammered out the top 3 running backs. We mentioned Dalvin Cook, but we only have about 5 minutes, so I want to get into a couple sleepers that we may all have.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 3 guys I kind of want to highlight, but I don't know.
You don't get them all. Come on.
I don't get them all. I don't get them all.
Well,
I'm just itching to talk another one, but go ahead. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Give us one.
First one I'm going to mention
Don't say it. Don't say it. Come on.
We know.
I'm going to say Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Okay.
Kansas City.
Okay. Woohoo! But that's
All
not
right.
who I thought you were going to say. Thank you.
That's not who I thought he was going to say either. But
He was more in my sleeper zone. They do have him rated pretty well. I'm actually impressed by
They
that.
That's the thing. He's ranked in average of about 15th best running back, which is pretty impressive for a rookie.
For a rookie.
On a team that throws the ball like crazy.
Yeah.
Right, but that's the thing. I think he's going to be that guy, especially in like a PPR league if you're playing one of those.
These fantasy guys know what he's going to do.
Right.
I mean,
he's
they
the
know
perfect
what
fantasy
he's
running
capable
back
of.
in this Chiefs offense.
Yeah.
He's the perfect fit. Everybody was praising this pick for good reason.
Why do you think Damian Williams fell so much?
Well, and he didn't even have that good of a fantasy year last year. If you look,
No, he didn't. But he's fallen even more now that
he had a good
Hilaire's been
postseason.
drafted.
Yeah.
Right. So, and they had their pick at any running back in the whole draft, and they chose this guy to complement their already.
I hope
offense.
you're right. I actually hope he's the best running back in the league.
I would pick him.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
I'd pick him in the top 10 easily. I would easily pick him in the top 10.
I think he's a great value pick. He was on my list for value, but not. I wasn't going to talk about him next. So you kind of stole him, but I'm thrilled I'm thrilled that you, the New England guy.
I know. I got to give some
Kansas
credit.
City player.
Give some credit. And I would love to pick a New England running back, and they have a dynamic backfield, but they just have so many guys that they use every single. Like they'll switch up who they use. Like 1 week you'll get Sony Michel, and then you get James White, and then you get Rex Burkhead. Right. And it's just you can't predict who they're going to use. So.
And that's why they don't do well in fantasy because they're all used.
Yep.
It's like nobody's going to score just a ton of points.
Right. And you don't always even know who's going to be in the lineup.
Well, that's right.
You're like, who's he playing? Because this guy had a great week last week for New England, and you're assuming he's going to be in, and they don't even play him at all. And you're like, what the hell?
And they don't even play him.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
John, do you want to go next?
So I'm shocked that nobody's mentioned this name yet. I was hoping Evan didn't do it, and he didn't. Kenyon Drake.
That's almost the other guy who I mentioned.
That's who I thought you.
They don't even have him. They don't even have him.
I know.
Projected to be very high, and the problem with his stats of last year is he played for 2 different teams. He had a great year. He's going to have and what I mean by that is if you look at NFL stats, they show the best stats of one team, and that happened to be Arizona, but it's not his combined total for the year.
Right.
So it's kind of screwed up, but he's going to have a great year.
John, I would say this. I don't even think Kenyon Drake is a sleeper.
No, I think he's a great value. I wasn't really going sleeper yet. I'm trying to hold that one out a little bit longer.
Yeah. All right. I thought we were doing sleepers. I'm sorry.
He was.
Sleepers,
I don't care.
Values.
I was picking somebody that you guys 2 rounds basically didn't say.
Fair enough.
That was a good pick, but
Kenyon Drake.
Sleeper a little. I don't think it's a sleeper. No.
I actually had Kenyon Drake and I had Austin Eckler. So it's funny. It's like I had those 2 guys too. But if real quick, if I have to throw out a sleeper, I'm going to throw out a guy that I'm somewhat familiar with, and that's Kareem Hunt. And I'm going to throw him out because he was suspended for 8 games last year, and I understand that Nick Chubb is on that team.
Yeah.
But I also know that they're familiar with this guy, and I know they've watched tape, and they watched him win the rushing record in Kansas City as a rookie, and they know what this kid can do. So I'm just telling you right now, if you need a late-round running back, somebody to put on your bench, somebody to cover bye weeks, check this kid out because he's going to score some points. And he is going to take carries away from Nick Chubb. I can tell you that. I guarantee you right now. Nick Chubb did well last year. That's because he didn't have competition for the first 8 weeks of the season.
Okay.
Now he's got training camp. He's learned the system. Watch out for this kid. We've watched him play. John's familiar with him too. We've seen him do it. So keep your eyes open for this guy.
All right. I like that pick. And so we only have about a minute left. One last guy I want to throw out there, and you guys are going to laugh at this. I know you're going to laugh at this.
Probably. We laugh at all your
Somebody
picks.
I like as a late round pick is David Johnson. Now, I like the idea of taking him as a late round pick. He's going into Houston. They don't have any other running backs that are worthy of being mentioned. Yeah, and the thing is, he can catch it out of the backfield. If he can have any sort of productivity that he had a couple seasons ago, he's worthy of having as a third or fourth running back.
I agree with you.
He can bring value. I think he's going to have a few games where he at the very least looks like the David Johnson of old, because he's going to a system. And say what you want about Bill O'Brien, he's not a bad offensive coach. He knows how to use his guys. So I think David Johnson's going into I don't like Bill O'Brien.
Cousin on the tree. Yeah.
He's part of the Bill Belichick tree.
Keep talking.
But I think he's going to a good fit for his skill set. And I think he's going to put up some points. So.
I think Kyle Allen will have more rushing yards under John's desk. That's what I think.
That is great.
Fair enough. Okay. I respect that.
I like it, Evan. We obviously didn't like the move because he's overpaid. Right. He's getting older. He wasn't a top 10 running back. But if I had a third or fourth running back choice and he's still on the board, he's probably going to be one of the best choices out there. So I don't disagree with you at all. So, again, I'm having a hard time with sleeper because you guys are passing. I'm not even going to say this is sleeper. I just mentioned his name because we know somebody should be picking him up, and that's Alvin Kamara. But this is not who I wanted to talk about. No. Okay. I'm actually going to jump into Joe's old backyard and still not a terrible sleeper. Chris Carson. How did we not mention this guy? I was shocked when I looked. He was like 9th best last year.
Yeah.
I would say that was a silent, didn't really even realize that dude had such a good year last year.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't.
I think he's having another good year. So I would grab him well before David Johnson, but I would get Alvin Kamara first. I mean, there's so many good choices we apparently didn't get to talk about.
I think Josh Jacobs is another guy too.
Mark Ingram could have another good year.
Mark Ingram.
Well, the only thing about Mark Ingram is you got J.K. Dobbins, and you don't know what's gonna happen. But what about Taylor in Indianapolis? Is he? He's going to take carries from Marlon Mack, and Marlon Mack had a decent season last year.
Yes, he did.
So there's all these running backs that we could talk about that have value. I mean, there is a lot of running backs out there. I'm not a particular fan of the Patrick Lindsey, Melvin Gordon, because they're going to take carries from each other, and that hurts. When you're picking fantasy running backs, you want the running backs that are a one-back system. Yeah. Because they get all the carries. The two-back
at least
systems,
a primary back.
Well,
right?
yeah,
you got another guy that they're going to put in there to give him some rest.
So to get some rest. But Patrick Lindsey, Melvin Gordon is not that. They're a dual rule. They're both going to get carries, and they're going to steal carries from each other. I think the same thing's going to happen in Cleveland with Chubb and Kareem Hunt too. And if one is better than the other, then obviously somebody may get more carries. But that hurts their fantasy totals. A Zeke. Well, fuck, dude. He's the guy in Dallas.
Right, he's the guy.
I mean, he's Saquon. He's the guy in New York. Those guys he's going to score a ton of points. That's why Aaron Jones, we're like, whoa, is A.J. Dillon going to come in there and, steal some carries? He may. And so that's kind of what you look at. Alvin Kamara, really like him. I like to hate him. Let me say that. I like to hate
I
Alvin Kamara.
I think he's a great back.
But he's a great back. You got
He
to give
wasn't
a
on my
guy-
value list because he's going to go high. He's a solid.
Real
fit.
quick before we end this, none of you mentioned Todd Gurley, Mr. Value.
I was gonna just talk about it and make you throw it.
I had to throw it in there.
I
caught both
just
of you.
decided I didn't want
Nobody
to.
threw Mr. Value in there.
I was gonna throw him out.
I
there.
thought
Could be a
that's where you
potential
were
value
going.
take.
But
I probably changes my mind 2 seconds before I said it because I really wanted to say him.
Right.
But I'm like, there's better. Honestly,
There's better
choices,
agree.
and there's the unknown about his injury. We don't know where that sits. So
I know. That's why I think he was paid too much because they don't
not
know about his injury.
pick him up in my first 2 or 3 running back choices. I would.
You don't want to rely on
But
it.
again, if it's David Johnson and Todd Gurley,
Todd Gurley.
if I know what the health situation is, I take Todd Gurley. If I don't
Me
know
too.
the health situation, I take David Johnson.
I'll tell you what. If I have
Depends on when your draft is.
if I have the 7, 8, or 9 pick, Kenyon Drake's going to be on my team.
I think I'd give him
I'll tell you
five.
that. Well,
If he's 5, I would grab him.
but he'll still be there.
yeah,
I don't. There's
I
not.
agree, he will be.
We will. We've talked about that. But at 6, 7, 8, 9,
Right.
Kenyon Drake's going to be there because people will have taken Saquon and Christian.
He'll go in the first round, but he might make it all the way to the
Aaron
end
Jones.
of that
Exactly.
first round.
But if I'm the
And I'd
7 or
grab
8
him.
guy, I'm not going to let him go to 12.
No. Yeah,
I'm going to
he's not
steal
coming
that son
around.
of a bitch at number 7 because
agree.
we know what he's capable of, and now he's really on a dangerous
Right,
team.
and his team's getting so dangerous. They're
Yeah.
getting so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Cool.
All right, boys.
Man,
That
good
was
talk.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Till next time.
Loved it.